This is how the press conference is going to run. We are going to start with the SAFA president who will give us an overview of what transpired and why we feel we've got a strong case for our match against Ghana. And then we have partner coach Hugo Brooks, who will take us through the journey of the qualifiers and the way forward. After the coach, we have Bafana 4 players, Roshan Deruk, Ethan Brooks, Teboho Mkwena, and Captain Rowan Williams, who will give us also their overview of the game and how they felt. And then the crux of the matter will get a report, blow by blow, from the expert, Mr. Esno, who give us an account and give us the reason. There seems to be a strong case that the major officials might have been compromised. And then the SAFA CEO will wrap up on what we have done so far, where we are, and the way forward. Without wasting much time, let me hand over to SAFA President to address us and give us the overview of why we are here. Over to you, President.
Okay. Good afternoon and to all of you. We thought it was important to address you on this matter, a matter which started with the final match, Bafana versus Ghana in Cape Coast in Ghana. But before we get to this match, firstly allow me to congratulate the Mamelodi Sundowns ladies team on becoming the first South African women team to make it to the final of the CAF Champions League. And if they win the Champions League, then they will join a club like Barcelona, who became the first club in Europe to win both the men and the women Champions League trophy. So our thoughts and support is with them, and we want to wish them all the best, representing South Africa, representing COSAFA, and in the COSAFA tournament clearly showed that they are the best footballing team in our region. They heard you. Thank you very much. The second matter is we have the coach here, and we have the captain, Ronwen Williams, here, and then we have the players. We have Roshin here, we have Teboho Mkwena here, and Ethan Brooks. These are players who participated in the match in Ghana. And you know the journey of these players. When soon after we appointed the coach, after the defeat in Sudan, I think it must have taken the footballing public in this country by surprise by putting a team on the field against Uganda, which was the first post-Sudan match, of players who were almost all first caps, new players who didn't come from the big clubs in South Africa, and there they scored the first victory against Uganda. And Uganda is one of the better teams on the African continent. The team went on to win the COSAFA Cup, and the team went on to be top of the group for the World Cup qualifiers with 13 points. And if you look at all the other groups, there are some countries that qualified with 10 and 11 points. This team had 13 points and was unbeaten in the round, up now to the final match in Ghana. And so we must give great credit to the coach and the players, and we want to thank them. Helman Mkolela, who started the journey against Uganda, Because it was a beginning of a new direction. We saw new energy, new ambition, new fighting spirit, which they carried with them. And they went to Ghana, determination and courage. So we want to thank them. We are also here then to deal with the issue arising out of the match, and that is the events in Cape Coast. I have with me here Ace Nobo, and we ask him to come in and give an independent evaluation or analysis of what happened there. So the first question is, when did we embark on this action? Well, we can say immediately upon the completion of the match in Cape Coast in Ghana. I think there was an outpouring of emotion in our country. We all watched the match. I then phoned the CEO, who was at that time with the match officials, and the head of delegation was there with him, Mr. Aubrey Bartman, and Vincent Cheka is somewhere here as the manager of the team. And I then asked him to go and approach the match officials and inform them that we are going to challenge the outcome of the match, and specifically we are concerned with certain decisions in the match, and so we're going to ask for an investigation into match manipulation in this match. Now, of course, we then have to say, what is this match manipulation? We asked specifically Mr. Noble to look at every decision, to analyze it, and test it against the laws of the game, and see if there is a pattern that we can show that may have had an influence of the outcome of the final decision. We have now received the report from Mr. Noble, and he must have spent 10, 11 hours in reviewing the match and making the analysis, and he will give you a full report on this matter. And so we are here today to inform the nation of the events that unfolded in Cape Coast Stadium that shocked and saddened us, because FIFA has a responsibility to protect the integrity of all of its competitions, and that is a responsibility that arises from the FIFA statutes. In February 2017, FIFA decided to strengthen the integrity of global football when they entered into agreement into a company called Sports Radar. Now, Sports Radar was appointed to monitor each and every one of FIFA competitions, every match, to protect the integrity of all its competitions. The monitoring of matches, therefore, was part of a preventative strategy by FIFA, and our responsibility as SAFA, our National Association, is to recognize first whether there's any bias, okay, that we can prove against our team. Two, we have to resist and expose such bias. And thirdly, is to report it to FIFA, any match manipulation involving our national teams or FIFA competitions. So what is match manipulation? And what are we placing before FIFA? Match manipulation of a match is when there is unlawful influence or unlawful altering of the direction or the cause of the match, or the result of the match, or any aspect of the match. And so the first question that we must answer, well, was there unlawful, either deliberate ignoring or deliberately applying decisions to influence the direction and outcome of the match. And the reason for manipulation is it is manipulated for financial gain, or it's manipulated for football advantage, where a member wants to go to the next level of competition, and therefore you have that particular manipulation of the match. And lastly, whether there was an agreement or a conspiracy to win a match or phases of the match in order to determine the outcome. Now, what we are then looking at, was there any deliberate action on the part of the referee or the match officials? Deliberate action means that there was a miss or a wrong application of the laws of the game by the referee. And again, we've asked Mr. Eisnober to see whether in his view, was there a deliberate miss or wrong application of the laws of the game in this particular match. We want to demonstrate, we ask him to demonstrate the point by analyzing the referee's decision. In other words, did the referee deliberately or wrongfully give a red card, give a yellow card, give a penalty, give a decision that is not in line with the laws of the game? So there's deliberate action on the part of the referee, or the deliberate neglect on the part of the referee. And this is a deliberate neglecting of his duty to take action during the match. Did the referee deliberately neglect to take decisions even when it was clear to that the referee was required to take that decision in terms of the law of the game? So when incident happened, did he ignore it, again, with the intention to influence the outcome of the election, of the match? Did the referee fail to award a free kick, a yellow card, a red card, penalty, when it was clear in terms of the rules? He should have done that. Did he deliberately neglect to apply the laws? Again, we ask Mr. Ngobo to look, analyze, and tell us whether there was such a tendency. In other words, we're asking for whether or not there was a confirmed and deliberate bias against Bafana, against South Africa, in order to have a particular outcome in this match. And he will talk to us. Then, of course, the other question is, was betting on the match? Yes, there was betting on the match. I don't know, do you have, can you put it on there to show them? This is Ghana versus South Africa. Bookmakers, according to them, has put a mistaken favorite and put the other betting there. So it is a fact that there was betting on the match. Now, you see, what we want FIFA to investigate also, because what happens in betting, if I know that in the 10th minute the referee is going to give a penalty, then there's a betting spike just before the penalty is given. And if that happens, that the betting spikes coincide with the decision, then you know. But how is it that there's a betting spike just before a major decision is taken, and therefore people bet? So they knew when to bet, because it's online betting. You sit at home, you watch the match, and you watch the time because you have information. Of course, we don't have the capacity to do that. We've asked FIFA to do that. You don't have the second, but in any case, it's confirmed that there are many, and they express their own views on the question of betting. The last issue is, was the profile of the match such that there were interests outside football? And that again is confirmed, yes. There's huge profile. I don't know, do you have those? Eh? You don't have it. But you have seen the articles, you are journalists. There was one saying that if Ghana loses this match, there'll be major problems, even for the president of the country, if they lose this match. Then there's another one that says that Ghana will at least get 2 penalties. If not, then we will definitely get 1 penalty. Those things are there.
You put it in the media, President.
You put it in the media section. Then, so all of these things, and then there is a further one saying that this is a must-win for Ghana, a win at all costs. Ghana must win. Now, all of those things, it could be just a spontaneous, patriotic expression and in their support of the national team, but we're asking FIFA again to look at these things and apply their mind. It is normal leading up to this match. So, because what we must know is that this match was a very decisive match, a very important match. And Ghana had only one option, and that was to win. If they play a draw, they're out. Anything else other than a victory, other than a win, would secure them the next round. And so we're asking FIFA to look at these things, to analyze it, and to let us know what is their understanding of what happened. Fact of the matter is, we move from the premise that we have to respect the integrity of football outcomes. You may know that when we played against Senegal, we were given a penalty, and upon the review, we said, it's not a penalty. And when FIFA asked us, we said, well, if there is evidence that there may have been manipulation of this match to give us that penalty, even if it's going to secure us to go to the World Cup. No, we don't want to go to the World Cup on that basis. So, if you call a replay of this match, we are prepared to replay the match, which we did. This time, the boot is on the other foot. And we can just leave the matter in FIFA's hands, because out of 54 countries on the African continent, only 5 goes to the World Cup. It is the most difficult continent for countries to qualify for the World Cup. And therefore, there must not be other interventions. We must protect the integrity of both the games and the outcome of the games. And that is the basis on which we proceeded, that we were not convinced that there was integrity in the decision-making in this match. And we want to place the matter before FIFA, so that FIFA can make the final decision. They have all the instruments. They have a sports radar that reports on the patterns of sports betting. They have an agreement with Interpol. They have huge capacity for investigating this matter, and we want to place what we have found before them to make a decision. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President, for that detailed overview. And now let's hand over to Fana Coach Ruben Bruce to take us through the end of the qualifiers and the way forward for this exciting team. Over to you, Coach.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. First of all, when I compare the situation today and the situation when I came here in South Africa.
Just 1 minute, Coach, so that the guy can just fix the...
Oh.
Go ahead, Coach.
Okay, as I said, when I compare the situation today and the one of 5 months ago, it's a difference of day and night. And when I came here to sign my contract, the only thing I heard was critics, pessimism. There was nothing good about Bafana. So I've tried to evaluate the team on that moment, and I decided to rebuild the team. First thing for me was that there were many older players in that team. Players who were 28, 29, 30. That means that when we should go to Qatar, that should be players of more than 30 years old. So my decision was to try and find young players here in South Africa. Because when I saw the players who were abroad, and I said it already that moment, it's not because you are abroad that you are a good player. Certainly not when you don't play. And when I saw all those South African players in Europe and other countries, there were not many players who played on a high level. So there was only a little number of players who could be Bafana. And from that point I started to go and see games here in South Africa, knowing the players, because for me, I didn't know South African players. And the first selection I made for the games against Zimbabwe and Ghana was not so it was not so easy. It was very difficult for me. I had much help from Helman Makelele. He's the one who knew this South African football, and he helped me a lot, certainly in those first 3-4 weeks to select a team. And it was for me also looking what it should be. I didn't know. I didn't know if it should be good or bad. And you see also when we played that first game in Zimbabwe, it was very hesitating. We were not confident. It was a young group, young players, many players who were for the first time Bafana, and you saw that. The confidence was not there. So we had a talk after this game in Zimbabwe, and when I saw then against Ghana, was what I wanted to see. I saw a team who was very confident, who plays good football, a good team spirit, and I knew that we were on the good way. And 1 month later, we have Ethiopia. Ethiopia was certainly the travel to Ethiopia was horror, really horror. And I said it already the last weeks. I hope that FIFA will see what happens here. This is not normal that you have to do a travel of 10, 12 hours before you are on the location where the game is played. Take the last travel we did to Ghana. Okay, it's 6 hours flight. This is not a problem. But you're coming there and then you need to do a new PCR test. You lose 2 hours and then you have a travel with bus under 25 kilometers, 3 hours and a half after 6 hours flight. So I think that FIFA has to review that. It's not the travel, but try, if we play in a location that there is an airport, that you don't have to do again another travel. So it was horror to go to Ethiopia, and we won that game on mentality. And that was for me also something to be very happy. Because I heard when I came here that the mentality in Bafana was not good. I saw that it was a good mentality. Those young players were hungry. They wanted to prove something, to show something to me, but also to all the South African country. And we won 2 times. The second time, even more on mentality, because we were exhausted before the game of the traveling to Ethiopia. But we won it. And then I was sure that we will be very close to be qualified for the next round. And then came the game against Zimbabwe, and that was maybe our weakest game of all. If you compare that with the other games, the team spirit was not like it was before. We were not the right mentality. We didn't play good. So it was our weakest game. But that can happen. And you know, something like that happened always on the wrong moment. And for us also, it happened on the wrong moment. We only won the game with 1-0. And afterwards, when you see then the goal differences and so on, then you know that if we should have scored 2 or 3 goals, and it was possible. We played against the Zimbabwe, who was not the Zimbabwe of 2 months before. There were players who were not there. The coach tried some other players. So if we had played in that moment on our normal level, we should have won it with 2 or 3 goals, and the game in Ghana should be easier. So, and then came the game of Ghana, and you can be sure of it, the determination in the team was there. We wanted to do a good result. A good result is winning, but that we knew that it should be very difficult, but we should play a game to be qualified for the next round. And I saw that on the players, I saw our behavior. There was concentration, everything was there to do a good game. And then the game started. And after 50 minutes, I went to the bench and I said to my 2 assistants, forget it. Ghana will win this game. And in my career, I had also those games that you think that the referee is against you. And it is because you are emotional, because you are nervous. And after the game, you have to be honest with yourself and tell, yes, okay, you were too nervous, you were you didn't see what it was, and okay, he was also against the opponent, and it's normal. But here, after the game, I was more convinced that he has been against us, that we couldn't win that game. And this is very frustrating. I saw players crying after the game. I saw frustration, I saw anger, I saw everything. And I think it was the right emotional thing that we have to have after that game. So I hope, really hope that the complaint will be received and that we can at least replay that game, because we deserve that. For the future, I think what I said in the beginning, it's a totally other situation. We have a team now. And then I don't speak not only about the players. I saw what I see. I see what I saw. And we have a group of players who behave them like they have to, like professionals. They treat each other like they have to. It's really very nice as a coach to see all that. So we are ready for the future. But we still have to improve. That is for sure. The situation is different now when we will play the qualifiers for AFCON. It is different because we have the experience of those 6 games, qualified games for World Cup, which we didn't have months ago. So I think Bafana is again a team, and you can expect good results. And I expect good results. And for me, but that I said it already, For me, there is only one thing that counts, is to qualify for AFCON, and we will do that. I'm confident, and I know that the players are confident and hungry enough to do that again. So I'm a very happy coach. You can be sure of it. I'm a coach who see what we did, which work we did, and I have to thank for that all the team, not only the players, but also the medical staff, logistic, security, all those players, all those people who are involved with Bafana. We did a very good job, and again, I'm looking forward to the qualifiers for AFCON. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. I said earlier that we have the Bafana coaches, which are headed by Captain Owen Williams, and we also have defender Rashid Dilok, and Ethan Crooks. Just to give us an overview of the game and how they felt and how they are feeling as we are here. Over to you, Captain.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Obviously, we feel disappointed, but I'm proud of the boys and the team of what we've achieved in the last 3 months. And it's obviously sad for it to finish this way, but we believe. We've got that little belief now that things can be corrected. So I hope things can be corrected and we can get a fair chance, because to go out this way, it's not nice, because what we achieved as a team in the last 3 months is amazing, and for me to be captain of such a wonderful, exciting, it's a massive achievement for me. Coming into camp, I look forward to it, seeing all the young, exciting players, trying to make a name for themselves, trying to get Bafana back on track, and I think we've achieved that, and yeah, just coming to the game, the referee comes to me before the game and says that he's going to book me for time wasting. I already feel targeted, so I already, going into the game with that at the back of my mind, that I'm a target and that he's looking at me. And then throughout the qualifiers, the ball boys did not have the balls in their hand. The balls were on the cones. But in this specific game, the ball boys had the balls in their hand, which was, unheard of, in this qualifiers. And whenever the ball would go out, they would obviously restart the ball very quickly. They would throw it back quickly. But the moment they scored, the ball boys disappeared, as you can imagine. And it took long for the balls to get back. And, I wanted to speak to the ref and tell him that some of the balls are soft. But he didn't want to hear anything about it. He said rather book me for time wasting. So it was a bit of a challenge, so, and I mean in the second half, the ball boys, they really vanished. If you could watch the game again, you'll see me running, looking for, couldn't find the balls, and I swear the ref should have, stamped his authority and, sort it out. And I mean, coming to their goalkeeper, the moment they scored the goal, it took so much time, and not once did I see the referee, speak to him or anything. I think he only got booked in the last few minutes. And I mean, from the 32nd minutes when we conceded up until 90, I mean, it's 60 minutes in between. And wasting time throughout, for 60 minutes, and not once did he get reprimanded. Whereas I got reprimanded before the game, before we conceded. For like 30 minutes, he was reprimanding me. And I did not waste time because, like I said, the ball boys kept throwing the ball in. And I said, asked him what the problem was with our team, because it feels like, the physicality of Ghana, he's allowing that. I said that they are playing, very physical and they're not challenging the ball. So he just told me that it's a contact sport. So I said yes, but then that the rules must go for both teams. And he just told me to get away because he'll book me. But in saying that, I'm proud of the boys. We went out there, we fought, we didn't give up. And to see youngsters, exciting youngsters fighting, even when the backs are against the wall, even when you can see that you are being targeted, to go out there and fight, shows the character that we're building in this team. The belief that we have. We didn't give up. We went out there, we fought. And, I'm proud of the boys. And, the future is exciting, and I'm looking forward to it. I just want to say thank you to the nation, to the footballing nation for supporting us, for the words of encouragement, for the positive message that you guys have been sending. We see all the messages and we acknowledge it, and especially, the positive messages that the guys are sending to Rushan. I know how we feel. Obviously, he's disappointed, but we are proud of him, the COSAFA, they played 6 games. He's one of the reasons they didn't concede. Sundowns, games. He's the reason they haven't been conceding. With us, we only got 2 goals, 6 games. He's one of the reasons being so solid at the back. So he shouldn't drop his head. This is a small setback for even greater things to come for him. So he needs to keep working, keep fighting, and I can see a bright future, not only for him, for this wonderful team. Thank you so much for the continued support and continue believing in us. We'll go out there and fight. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir. And now we hand over to
After Max, I hear Dominic. Come this side.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a very, very tough few days, not only for myself, but for everybody that's part of Bafana Bafana. To go out in the way that we did, it was very, very painful. We worked so hard, during the qualifiers, to put ourselves in a really, really good situation. Let's be honest, no one really gave us a chance to do so well, and it was very, very tough for us, to go out the way we did. About the game, especially, it was a. Coming to the game, obviously it was a very, very big game. We know what it would mean to the country if, we qualify for the next round. And we were all excited. We're playing against really top players that's playing in the Champions League and the Premier League, La Liga, and this is what you want for yourself. You want to test yourself against the very, very best players, in the world. And I felt like we did that, but I felt like also, that the opportunity of us, getting a result was taken away from us, because of the decisions that was made in the match. It was so obvious, It felt like the game was rehearsed, like everything going on, from the referees to the players, the Ghanaian players, and to the ball boys even, so it was very, very tough for us on the field, to see what was happening. I can even say, from maybe like the first 10 minutes of the game, you already saw that, we're not going to get anything right in the game, but we managed to keep our cool, and we continued to fight, and I felt like we had moments in the game to maybe capitalize, but I felt like we didn't have a fair chance, and we were robbed, and we deserve. As a player, I feel like we deserve to get a second chance, to play a fair game and hopefully show what we can do. So, I feel like we need to really look into this, because it was heartbreaking, because I know, like I said, what that result would have meant to not only myself, the players, our families, the country as well. So to lose it in that way just really, really broke me. But I just want to say thank you to the support. There's a lot of words of encouragement. There's a lot of people that was messaging me, sending me love, and that really helped the past few days. So I want to say thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I must say I'm proud of myself, and I'm proud of the team. I think when we started this journey, I don't think anyone or everyone in this room believed in us, except the coach. Except the coach. But yeah, I think we did an amazing job as a team, a new team. We worked very hard to be where we are, and it's very sad that we had to lose the way we lost. I think we deserve better as a team. Going to this game, for me, I played 2 AFCONs for junior levels, under 20, under 23, and I know, like, these things happen, and that's what you always experience when you play these African countries, and especially in AFCONs. That's what we've been experiencing, and fortunately enough, but we managed to qualify in those 2 tournaments I've played in. So going to this game, it was really a tough game. I think we started well as a team. I think we had a positive mindset, and we had a belief that we'll go to the next round, and we kept that belief, and you saw how we fought in the field, how we've played, and you saw the confidence, how we kept the ball. And the Ghanaians, they kept on saying, if we go toe-to-toe with these boys, they will beat us. Let's be physical, So I was like, oh, so these guys don't believe in themselves. But then, yeah, man, I think we have top players in this team. We must just keep on believing in ourselves. The future looks bright. But for me, like, I'm very sad, because for me it was gonna be an amazing record, because I've qualified for the World Cup under 20, Olympics under 23, and it was gonna be Qatar 2022, and we were the Vision 2022. So it's very sad for me, and also my family back home. I know they are crying. They know my goals. They know what I want to achieve for my future and for myself. But yeah, man, it's very sad. I'm emotional, so I can't carry on. But thank you very much for the support, man.
Thanks, sir. Last but not least, one of the right leaders,
Often, like Ranza, Roshan, and Tebza said, it's a very good squad that we have. Everyone was really confident throughout the whole, qualifiers. And I would just like to say, being one of the youngest in the group, I'm glad I've been a part of this group. Glad to, look up to these guys. And then in terms of, the game, we went out there with confidence, and like Coach did mention, we should go out there with confidence, win our duels. And, me being one of the youngest and the smallest on that field, I did make sure that, I went out there, did my best, and did compete in every duel. So it just felt like with every duel that I did go in, the ref, just turned his head the other way, and it just, for me, it's not nice to see that, giving my all doing that. But like I said, this is a good bunch of players that I've been with, and it hurts to go out like this, but we learn and grow from this. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you very much. You can come down, guys. You can come down. Now, to the moment, we have all been waiting for a blow-by-blow account by our expert in the testimonies. Over to you, Kega.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I think that before I delve into the report itself, I should make mention of a few very important background aspects relating to the task that was given to me. First of all, the Football Association is not bereft of talent and expertise in the refereeing fraternity. There are many colleagues of mine, former referees, or match commissioners now, some of whom are serving in continental structures, and some of whom are serving on FIFA refereeing committees. But even a big law firm on internal matters will appoint.
The journalists are saying today are too poor.
That's what happens when you're dealing with big matters. Even a big law firm on internal matters will seek a legal opinion, which will carry a higher level of independence than when it's developed from internally. So I just wanted to lay that to rest, that there was no lack of expertise within the South African Football Association to carry out this task. Secondly, when the president of SAFA called me at close to midnight on the day of the match, there are certain imperatives that we agreed upon in terms of how to approach this matter to protect both the integrity of SAFA and the leagues that fall under its jurisdiction, including the special member which runs professional football. And one of those is that you can't, as the custodian of football, make a submission that contests a specific decision of a referee, because it's acceptable that errors will be there. And if you are to do that as the Football Association, you are opening up for chaos in the future, when every single club owner, upon losing a match, will then write to SAFA and say, I'm a member club of the NSL. I believe that that was not a penalty, so you must order a replay. So we agree that this is not about the penalty incident that led to the goal. And I'm glad that in his presentation, the president stuck to the framework of this submission to FIFA, that let's not speak about
SAFA appeals penalty decision. I think I've seen quite a number of reports in that regard. This is not about the penalty decision. This submission is about a firm suspicion, maybe even a conviction now that the report is there, that the match was unlawfully manipulated. And I'm going to prove it, as I have done. And I hope, CEO, that members of the media will be granted unfettered access to this report, because it's not a confidential document. Even the public out there need to know how we arrived at the conclusion. I'm not going to bore you by going through the entire second-by-second analysis. I'll pick a few points from it, but I want you to understand first the approach that we have used. The approach used takes two very important aspects that come from FIFA statutes and the laws of the game. The first one is extracted from the FIFA Disciplinary Code, Article 18, Section 1, which reads thus: anyone who directly or indirectly, by an act or omission, unlawfully influences or manipulates the course, result, or any other aspect of a match and or competition, or conspires or attempts to do so by any means, shall be sanctioned with a 5-year ban on taking part in any football-related activity. Now, the moment FIFA decides that that person needs to be sanctioned because there is verifiable proof that the person unlawfully influenced or manipulated the course or the result of the match, then it goes without saying that the result of that match becomes null and void. That's the first important point we need to look at, because you can't sanction a person for unlawfully manipulating the result and still that manipulated result as an official result. So we're hoping that by proving this manipulation, FIFA will then take the appropriate action. There's an automatic ban of 5 years, which can be extended to a life ban in extreme circumstances, as Article 18.1 stipulates. Now, this is tested against the powers of the referee, and especially relating to decisions of the referee as stipulated in Law 5. The decisions of the referee regarding facts connected with play, including whether or not a goal is scored and the result of the match, are final. That's Law 5. The decisions of the referee and all other match officials must always be respected. Now, this is a very important aspect in the laws of the game, so that we don't have chaos in football, that every time there's a particular decision of the referee that you disagree with, you must challenge that decision of the referee. So what we have done here is not to look at just the correctness or otherwise of a referee's decision and its particular influence on the outcome of the match. What we have sought to do as a strategic objective of this task is to prove that there was a definite pattern of bias. As the President eloquently spoke to this matter, a definite pattern of bias is clearly a deliberate process which manipulates or influences the course of the match. And if you are able to manipulate the course of the match, you will then have a direct bearing on the outcome of the match. It goes without saying. Because if we focus only on the penalty, then we are only looking at the result of the match as 1-0, that the penalty was scored. But if you look at the pattern of bias, it will clearly prove to us that there was virtually no way that South Africa could have scored a goal in that match. And I'll proceed to prove that to you. So the process flow that we have adopted with this technical analysis is that we have looked at the match second by second and logged down all the incidents in the match that required the intervention of the referee. Whether those incidents were blown for by the referee or not. We looked at all of them. And we disregarded minor incidents like ball out of play for a throw-in, except in cases where there was a deliberate act to delay a restart of the match, or the ball goes out of play and is given to the wrong team. Those are the only incidents that we took from your ordinary course of play incident. We looked at only major incidents, and there were 71 of them in the match in total. 71 major incidents, and the bulk of those were in the first half. Now, the process flow is that we looked at logging all the incidents, and once we had all 71 incidents, we then went further to say, of the 71, how many did the referee blow for? Now, we haven't reached the stage where we look at what the decision was, who was it in favor of. We haven't even looked at the correctness or otherwise of the referee's decision. So out of the 71, if we can go down to the last table on page 17, on the last page, the last table, overall match summary, so that as I speak with those that want to refer to, they can look at it. The overall match summary, right at the end. There will be 3 tables at the bottom, one for the first half, one for the second half, and there will be one captioned overall match summary. Yes. Pull it up, please. That's the first half. Let's go down to the overall. Go down. Okay, thank you. Now, as you can see there, of the 71 incidents that took place, definitely you, and when you read this report, it's the minute is given. Have the footage of the match. Stop it at that minute and read the report, and you will see what is happening. This is not thumbs up. This is an objective analysis of things that took place. There were 21 out of 71 incidents that there was no flag and there was no whistle. They were either ignored or not seen. We don't want to delve into that part of it. There are various of them that were definitely seen, and the report will state that the referee was correctly positioned within proximity of the incident, had a clear view, but still ignored it. There are a number of those. And out of the 71, 47 were awarded. Still at this stage, we have not made a value judgment on the correctness or otherwise of those that were awarded. So already in the pocket, we have 21 major incidents that were ignored. Those count as incorrect decisions, because if the incident takes place and you don't take action when you should have taken action, then it means it's an incorrect decision. It speaks to the omission. It's an act versus omission. The number of correct decisions, 37 out of 71, which gives you an overall assessment of performance of that referee and his team of 52.1%. Now go to any country and ask them what fellow referees say to a referee who has received 60%, 65% in a match. They will tell him you were poor in that match, because it means if you've got 60%, you got 6 decisions right out of every 10 decisions. That's not a good take-home packet. The number of incorrect decisions, 33 out of 71. Still there, President, we are talking about incompetence. We haven't touched on bias. Because theoretically, there is the possibility of a referee getting 52.1% decisions correctly. There is a possibility of a referee getting 46.5% of decisions incorrectly. But when you look at the split of the incorrect decisions between the two teams, theoretically, if it's a poor day at the office for the referee, it should be a 50-50 split. Now, it's impossible to get an exactly 50-50 split, even when the referee is poor and makes incorrect decisions that affect both teams. So we say even a 55-45 split is still not regarded as bias. Even a 60-40 split would be regarded as slight bias, and you can't be holding press conferences and writing to FIFA about even a 60-40 split. It is only when you reach your upper 60s and you hit 70-30 that you start looking at this as an extreme bias. And I want us to test this against that note which said, at 70-30, you are faced with extreme bias. Of the 33 in-court decisions, 30 of them went against South Africa, which accounts for 90.9% of incorrect decisions that I have no fear of anyone looking at the match and looking at this report and saying, no, the referee right there, you said he was wrong. I've gone through every single one of the incidents that I picked, and where, because of the footage, I could not determine the correctness or otherwise, I logged it on as inconclusive. Now, 90.9% is 40.9 percentage points above that theoretical 50-50 split. That's major. Even when you allow for a situation where we said 60-40 is slight bias and nothing to write home about, 91% of incorrect decisions against one team surely makes a case for deliberate bias. Now, let's nitpick that. Can you go up to the table for the first half? Now, if you look at that table for the first half, and we are focusing purely for this next minute or so on the performance of the referee, as depicted by the number of spot-on decisions. In the first half, out of 45 major decisions, he got only 17 correct. And that's 37.8%. That is his performance of the first half. Let's go to the second half. Let's go. 76.9% reminds us why this referee is on the international panel. He has refereed in the past. He's on the panel because he has the ability to reach that kind of performance. And that was his performance, real, during the second half, because there was already now a sense of comfort that the outcome of the deliberate bias has been achieved up to certain moments. If you go up to up the table now, let's go up to where we end up the incidents. We'll come back to these tables because I need the members of the media to understand where we are. Just go up. I'll tell you when to stop. Do that. Do that. Okay, hang on. Go up again. Go up. I want to go to where the second half starts. Okay. Go down. Go down. That's where the first half ends. Go down. I'll tell you when to stop. Okay. Now, incident number 46. Remember we said there were 45 incidents in the first half. Incident number 46 takes place in the second half. Minute 46, 12 seconds. Right? Now, I want you to slowly scroll down. Look at the green color on the right-hand column. Now, we're suddenly having a referee that is getting every single decision spot on in the match. That's the second half. The same referee that was getting almost half of the decisions incorrect in the first half is now all of a sudden getting them correctly. Scroll down. There is a moment in the match, and I know the technical report of the coach will touch on this. Go down, because we're still on spot-on zone. Round about the 75th minute, stop there. When there's a renewed vigor on the part of the Bafana players realizing, hey, we're losing this thing. Let's now push. Again, the incorrect decisions start. Scroll down, you'll see. Again, there's a number of incorrect decisions. In fact, in the second half, ladies and gentlemen, in the second half, there were only 5 incorrect decisions. Only 5 incorrect decisions in the second half. 5. But all of them were against South Africa. All 5 of them. Not even a single incorrect decision in the second half went against Ghana. In that. So, when we get a pattern of bias, and when you read this report, you will see instances where there were free kicks that were awarded in favor of South Africa. At moments in the game when allowing the advantage would have led to a promising attack. Several of them. They are logged on as correct decisions because indeed there was a foul on the South African player and the free kick was awarded. So when we look for pattern of bias, we look at the conduct of the referee not only in terms of the incorrect decisions, but at critical moments when he should have allowed that but did not. Because when you look at those specific moments, the Ghanaian defenders were far outnumbered. Promising attack, instead of giving the advantage, let's pull them back so that we give them an opportunity to regroup. So, as things stand, having given the draft report to other colleagues, highly respected commissioners, respected former referees who are still part of the system at whatever level. And I chose at least one of them that I know is a super apologist for referees. You know, I love the referees. They are my family. But I'm not going to apologize or condone poor performances. I gave it to him and said, I know you're very protective of refereeing decisions. You always find ways of saying no, but the referee was correct even when the referee was wrong. 90.9% in my report points to the number of incorrect decisions that went against Bafana. which gives us 91% bias against Bafana Bafana. This man brings back my report. He has indeed dropped that percentage. And I knew it would come back dropped. But he could only drop it as far as 89.7%. Now talking about a person who is very protective of referees and always wants to attack me. After my show, I know, before I go to bed on Monday nights, he will call me and tell me, no, you can't say the referee is not spot on. That's the kind of person he is. He could only drop that percentage of bias to 89.7%. So I'm very comfortable, members of the media, that what we are giving you here, if you can go down to the conclusion of the report in bold at the bottom of the report. Right at the bottom. That one. My independent conclusion is that the referee in this match was blatantly biased against South Africa. 90.9% of incorrect decisions against one team is a clear case of a match official unlawfully influencing and or manipulating the course and or the outcome of a match. It is an independent conclusion that I have reached without any body from SAFA begging me, please let your report be in line with our wishes. I also have a reputation to uphold, and I would never produce a report. In fact, had the report produced something to this contrary, I wouldn't be sitting here. I would tell the President, I'm not supporting your submission to FIFA for the match to be replayed. That's just how I am. And it's an independent conclusion that is arrived at without any kind of personal benefit. The CEO is here. I told him that this is my contribution to football as a member of the football fraternity. The number of hours I spent doing this has no financial value. So I cannot submit an invoice for the work that I've done, because you would have to bankrupt SAFA if I billed you the 100 million rands that this is valued at. So it's a fully independent report. And at the bottom, I do put a little bit of my profile there, so that anybody, because we said we'll make this report public, anybody who reads it must know that I've refereed at the highest level. I've been involved in FIFA international tournaments and World Cup qualifiers. I have spent the past 9 years of my life in football analyzing refereeing decisions. Nobody else in the world does what I do on a weekly basis. At least I can claim some level of uniqueness in that regard and some level of being an expert in what I do. Because you can be a match commissioner and a match inspector, a referee's assessor, you look at what you look at. But reviewing footage, television footage, is a specialist skill that not many people can possess. There's a former colleague of mine who went to SuperSport and asked for my job there. They put him on a test in front of the cameras. Okay, here's a couple of incidents, review this instance. He couldn't, because you can be a good match commissioner, having been a very good referee, award-winning referee, but television is something else. And analyzing television content has got certain tricks of the trade that not everybody can possess. So, in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, I want to reiterate the fact that any submission by the CEO of SAFA to FIFA will not necessarily be about it. The submission is to say the referee in that match collectively the match officials displayed a deliberate pattern of bias against one of the teams. And in so doing, they unlawfully influenced, manipulated the course of the match, which also impacted on the result. It cannot be that the custodian of fair play would then sit back and say it is fine for such a high level of deliberate bias to sustain. It is fine for a result which is the outcome of deliberate bias to be the official result of that match. We are hoping that the powers that be at FIFA will also go to this report, conduct their own analysis. Even if they drop that 91% bias to 70%, as I said earlier, that is still extreme bias against one team. And they should find in favor of the South African Football Association in terms of its request to have the match replayed. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mr. Chimavi, and good afternoon.
Hold on, Theo. There is the moment, guys.
I think, Dominic, we made it clear. Our position is not about the penalty. Our position is about the performance of the referee in the entire match. So, again, we must not divert that we are raising the issue of the penalty. We are raising the issue of the performance of the referee. That is the issue. So this is neither here nor there at this moment in the context of our approach to FIFA.
Thank you, President. Over to you, SAFA CEO, on what we have done so far, where we are, and the way forward.
Thanks, Mr. Chimavi, and good afternoon all. I think first one must just touch on difficulties which the coach has touched on, because these players and the technical team have gone through the worst. First, you had to go and play in Ethiopia when there is war in Ethiopia. 600 km away from the stadium we were playing, there was war. These players still went there and played. We went to Ghana. Ghana deliberately made the Accra Stadium to be their alternative. It does not have issues. We went to Ghana and had to travel. At least we were lucky because we got an escort. Zimbabwe says after they played Ghana there, they were not given an escort, and the traffic is a nightmare. But also what will be writing to both CAF and FIFA is how these all issues were treated, because then Ghana is not taken to the same place we went. When they are to play Ethiopia, the stadium of Ethiopia then does not pass the test, just hardly a month after we played there. Ethiopia asked for a stadium. They write to us on a Thursday night we receive a message from CAF to say if you don't confirm the stadium tonight, they will play in Ghana. So those are the kind of challenges the coach has spoken about, which we'll deal with when we address our issues with both CAF and FIFA and looking at the future, as the coach had said. What we did up to this point, immediately after the game, together with the HOD, Mr. Batman, and the manager, Mr. Tseka, we approached the match commissioner who was from Nigeria and raised with him that we are not happy with the game, and we want him to record in his report that we are putting a formal complaint not against any specific decision, but overall the conduct of the referee, because it was our firm belief that the penalty issue is not an isolated incident. And we are happy that the report, the independent report, has confirmed our suspicion that it was not just an isolated issue. And the match commissioner had said he will put it in his report. Then the next day we wrote to both CAF and FIFA lodging our formal complaint. We have up to this far received a confirmation from CAF that they've received our complaint and is getting the attention, and we are waiting to hear from FIFA. We have informally heard through the media that they are looking at it. We have not yet got anything official from them, but we will be supplying them with more information like the report, this independent report which we have seen, and we'll keep the country updated with whatever is happening. Thanks, Mr. Chimafi.
Thank you.
Mark Stradum, Times Live. Mr. Spot-on, can you just tell us do you have an idea how much time you spent reviewing the material to put together your report? Was it 5 hours, 10 hours, maybe just of reviewing the match? Not necessarily writing the report, the amount of time you spent reviewing. President, can I ask, you mentioned betting. Will SAFA consider hiring its own investigator that has experience in betting matters to look for a link there? Thank you.
Hi, Mark. Thank you. That question is quite important for contextual purposes. I spent 5 hours, 17 minutes reviewing the first half. And that includes writing the report, because I would then stop the video to write about that specific incident, replay it several times. So that's why to review the first 45 minutes, it took me 5 hours, 17 minutes. But it took me 2 hours, 3 minutes to review the second half, because most of the time I was just watching football and watching a referee giving good decisions and allowing play to continue and flow nicely. So it took me less than half the time to review the second half than I did with the first half, because, as I said, there were only 5 incorrect decisions in the second half, and most of them were towards the end of the match, when we had about 15 minutes left to play. So that was the time split between the two halves.
Well, on the question of betting, as I've indicated to you, already in 2017, FIFA concluded an agreement with a company called Sports Radar, and Sports Radar is monitoring every single match, and FIFA received those reports. And so in the investigation, we asked them to also look at the aspect of betting. And I'm sure they must have the reports already. They received those reports promptly from Sports Radar.
Velila from SABC. I think my question maybe is to you, President, because in 2017, as you have said, you've been down this road before, and I think maybe since 2005, together with Senegal, we're the only team to be involved in replaying a game So in putting the report that you are putting together now, and obviously also assisted by the independent report of Bryce, what lessons are you putting from 2017 to now in submitting this report?
Well, I think we've already indicated to you that when it comes to match manipulation, our experience with FIFA is that FIFA acted quite decisively. You may know that in the lead up to the 2010 World Cup in our country, there were similar allegations, and FIFA dealt swiftly and very strongly against what happened then. In the question of Senegal, South Africa, similarly, FIFA dealt very swiftly with that matter. So we expect a prompt response, as I indicated, that they may already be in possession with some of the information. We will provide the additional information, and we hope that they will get back to us with a prompt response.
Yes, Bryce, just on your, because Mr. Ndiaye is one of the candidate referees for Qatar next year. And as you were reviewing his performance, because there's not a lot of candidate referees on the continent for Qatar next year, what message do you think this is sending to FIFA? Because these are referees who've been assessed, who've been evaluated for them to be in a stage where they are now. Because some of them are already going through the final phase of being passed to Qatar next year.
Look, my stance is very simple. As Africans, we want a bigger slice of the World Cup cake, be it in the slots that are given to participating nations, be it members that represent us on the refereeing panel. And you speak to any referee in the fraternity, they'll tell you, once we go to a FIFA tournament, coming from Africa, we forget which specific country we come from. We always regard ourselves as representatives of the continent, together like that. My stance is that if we had an opportunity to have 5 referees on the panel for Qatar 2022, and all 5 of them displayed this kind of deliberate bias in any of their matches, then Qatar 2022. If there's only one referee who has made deliberate bias, as we have now discovered at least one of them, he does not deserve to go there, because you can't take somebody who makes it his mission to unlawfully manipulate, match and influence its outcomes to the highest stage in the world. The World Cup is a very powerful tool for social cohesion the world over. It can't be given and placed on the shoulders of people who show lack of integrity. So we would not expect him to form part of the panel.
I think the painful part is this, and based on his analysis, the referee that handled the foul could never be considered in any World Cup or even a qualification match. The referee in the second half can be considered. So it depends on which referee you want to send. The one in the first half, you can definitely not send him. But this is the problem. How is it that one person with the same level of experience can have such contradictory application of the mind and application of the laws of the game? It leads to lack of integrity, possible dishonesty, manipulation, and so on. And if that is caught, then that person also similarly can never go to the World Cup. We cannot subject any other nation to what we have found here.
Thank you, President. We will take the last two questions and then we'll close. Last two questions. One, two.
Thank you, Dominic. Good afternoon to the members that are on the table. My name is Kanyiso Chwaku from Sport 24. My question is directed to Danny. Mr. Ngobo's report, as they say on Twitter, has pretty much put, to quote the words used on Twitter, that it's made Rassie Rasmus's similar complaint in the British and Irish Lion series look like it was a high school project. But we are not quite privy to how FIFA deals with such matters, and how matters are actually, how the onus has to be proved. With all the information here, is there going to be any other onuses that need to be proved, that there was match manipulation outside of the numbers that were put, the numbers that were put up by Mr. Ngobo?
Well, I don't know what else you are asking for. He's already told you. In any institution or performance, if you have 90% and more against you, are you going to pass? No. You fail the test of integrity, of bias. Those things are confirmed by those percentages. So I don't know what else we must prove. We've proved on a percentage basis, and he made analysis on an incident by incident basis, that there's overwhelming evidence to support that this decision cannot stand. I don't know what else. Do you think of anything else that we must give to FIFA?
Yeah, no, President, I think that the guidance that we can give so that when you report on this, you report correctly, is let's focus on what Article 18 says. FIFA has a framework of dealing with this, and it doesn't relate to a financial inducement, because I think that maybe where your question would be inclined towards, to say, do we need to prove that there was a financial inducement or any other benefit that accrued to the referee in order for him to act in this fashion? That is not even an interest of ours. If there is such an inducement, it's for FIFA to investigate and deal with it. And Article 18.1 will then look at the lifetime ban for such an individual rather than the automatic 5-year ban. What we are focused on is manipulation of the course of the match, which impacts on the result of the match, either by an act or an omission. And that's what we've been able to prove. And that should suffice for FIFA to make a finding on this matter without requiring any additional material.
Thank you.
My name is Mninawa Ntloko. I'm the digital sports editor at Arena Holdings. I've got a question here, CEO. I touched on this earlier. Yesterday we saw some reports claiming that FIFA has opened an investigation into this match, and just to get some clarity here, because SAFA are the complainants here, is there such a thing, or where we are right now is that they have received the complaint and this is where we are? Just need to get some clarity as to where we are exactly.
As indicated, we have submitted, and we have not yet got anything official from FIFA. It's only CAF which responded in the morning. From FIFA, we're still waiting.
Thank you so much. Temba Shavala, Joseph from Sports. I just need to find out from you, President. I'm looking at Mr. Mutsipe from where I sit. He's the CAF president, and this happens under his watch, that his country gets to go through such terrible times within the CAF environment. Have you spoken to him about the latest matters that have happened, and what is his stance as a South African, if he has spoken to you or the CEO?
No, I have not spoken to him about this matter. He is the president of CAF, and therefore is the president of South Africa. We will place our matter before FIFA. We must build our case on an objective basis, and that's why, as I explained, we didn't want to use anyone internally of our staff, and they are quite competent people that we have. We said no, let's not, because you were right, no, but in any case, they are on SAFA's payroll, so what do you expect? He's not on SAFA's payroll, and now he's saying he's not on any payroll, he's not going to give an invoice. So that is our case, and we should not involve opportunistically the CAF president, because if the CAF president was not in South Africa, he is from Cameroon or any other country, there would not have been a call to say, can't you go to the CAF president? We are not going to him. He must not get involved. We are a member of CAF, we are a member of FIFA, and we hosted the World Cup. We can fight our battles, that you know. So we know we don't need help. We need facts, we need analysis, and we have that, and we want to thank H. Noble for his contribution. As he said, it was in the middle of the night after the game, but our blood was boiling, that I thought, no, we must deal with this issue. And I called him, and he immediately said, yes, I can assist. So I want to thank him for bringing the call in the middle of the night after the game. And we are very happy with the outcome. Okay. Let them come in. And come